It's time to talk about the Browns quarterback. That man got a big contract, 230 fully guaranteed. And at some point in time, we can't keep blaming it on Russ.
What if I told you this is the worst signing, maybe trade, and contract given out potentially in NFL history? And the person I'm talking about is no other than Mr. Deshaun Watson. Whether you like him or not, the fact of the matter is he has been terrible. And it's not just because of the guaranteed money. Because if you just look at the guarantees, this is easily the worst contract of all time. And let's also mention that the Browns needed to trade for him. They gave up 3 first-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks, and 1 third. And then after that, they gave him the highest fully guaranteed contract in the history of the sport. And let me tell you, this set a terrible precedence throughout the league. Because not only did it disrupt the quarterback market, the owners around the league were not happy about it.
And there are some who believe that the owners are locking arms to prevent it from becoming the norm. They want it to be the outlier. They want it to be the aberration. Russell Wilson didn't get one from the Broncos. Kyler Murray didn't get one from the Cardinals. And now the Ravens refusing to give one to Lamar Jackson, and no other team stepping in to offer him that fully guaranteed contract.
Listen, I'm for all players getting their money. And truthfully, I am always on the side of the player getting the money over the owner. But we can have a conversation about that on a different day. But imagine being the owner of the Browns and causing all this friction throughout the league for Deshaun Watson. Like, at the end of the day, I get if it's like Patrick Mahomes or someone on that level, but no, the Browns decided to hitch their wagon to Deshaun effing Watson, who has a laundry list of off-the-field issues and who hasn't played football for a couple of years. That doesn't seem like a good business investment if you ask me. And it's so crazy to me, this analysis I'm going through right now actually has nothing to do with the type of person he is. Because if you're throwing that in there as well, what are the Browns doing? A breakdown was put together showing the first year of Deshaun Watson on being the Browns compared to his days on the Texans. And he's basically set career lows in every category. And it would be fair to say, like, okay, it's only 1 year. It's only a small sample size because he wasn't able to finish the full year and there was a lot of things going on. But now we're in year 2. And he's actually been worse this year than he was last year. Yes, maybe there's injury involved, all these things. But this guy hasn't been good at football or playing football in like 3-4 years, basically. With all this being said, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm pretty curious. I'm going to go through the contracts throughout history that would be considered quote-unquote bad. And the list of names had like Matt Flynn when he was in the Seahawks, who got like $26 million with $10 million guaranteed to not play any games for the team. Or Michael Vick, who signed a 10-year, $130 million deal with the Falcons. And of that deal, $37 million was guaranteed, but was suspended on the front end of that contract for spending time in prison. Or Albert Hainsworth, who's like the most notable one. He signed a 7-year deal, $100 million with $41 million guaranteed with the Redskins, where he played terrible and didn't have the work ethic or self-control needed to be a successful player in the NFL. And all the money is definitely fluctuating because you look at like Matt Flynn years ago, you know, $26 million is not a lot of money, but at the time, that was a lot of money. But all of these contracts don't even touch Deshaun Watson's. And the craziest part of my mind is that it's already the worst without even including the trade aspect of it. And after doing the contract research, I asked myself, is this one of the most lopsided trades in history as well? So I did more research. This was considered to be the worst trade in NFL history, and that was Herschel Walker being traded to Minnesota. Herschel Walker was traded with 4 draft picks to the Minnesota Vikings in exchange for 5 players and 8 draft picks. And with those draft picks, the Cowboys ultimately got Emmitt Smith, Darren Woodson, and Russell Maryland. And these guys ended up being the cornerstones of their 3 Super Bowl run in the 90s. And where Herschel Walker ended up going to Minnesota, played 2.5 seasons, never got 1,000 yards, and ended up leaving pretty soon after that. So obviously it's not as bad as that. Or is it? No question. The Texans need to draft well with these picks, but we're assuming they don't get players like the ones said before. But let's just look at the draft compensation comparison. What the Cowboys received for Herschel Walker is actually extremely similar to what the Texans got in terms of draft capital. The Cowboys received 3 firsts, 3 seconds, 1 third, and 1 sixth, while giving up 2 thirds, a 5th round pick, and a 10th round pick. And as I mentioned earlier, the Texans received 3 first-round picks, 2 fourths, and a third for a player that wasn't even playing. If you ask me, This is going to be the worst trade in NFL history if the Texans can do anything with those picks. The Texans already are better off without Deshaun Watson. They got CJ Stroud, they got all these young guys everywhere. Like, in conclusion, if Deshaun Watson does not figure it out, this could be the worst signing, contract, and trade in NFL history. Ouch. And that's it, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, obviously subscribe, and most importantly, if you like this content, share it to a friend or family member, because if you like it, chances are they will like it as well. And until the next video, talk to you guys soon.